just kind of like going through it and talking about what went really well, maybe what are some things that we could improve on. Yeah, you guys get the drill, right? It's definitely okay to be toxic when I'm playing. There's no issue with that. Not even a little bit. I kind of wish that loading screen where it showed me the two teams was a little bit longer. That's my favorite part about that. It's like it gives me a quick overview. All right, so we got Zophion on Vampires, and we have Markinos on Orcs. Markinos is a pretty good coach, isn't he? I've seen his name before a couple times. Why would I want to do that? Russell doesn't kill things. I didn't want SPP on a Thrall. All right, let's take a look at the match before we do this. So we know Zophion is running a 2 throwers and a runner, so a little light. I'm guessing we had a vampire die, so that's unfortunate. See if this working? That is not working. Let's see if we can get that to work now. Die. Knock it off. Now let's see what we got it now. Nope, still not there. Try one more time. One more time. We want to get that pen working. For some reason it doesn't like to do it. How about now? We're still not doing it. All right, well, I guess we're doing this without Epic Pen today. I figure out why this thing doesn't work sometimes, man. It's so annoying. It's like, I just want you to capture the screen. Why is it that complicated? What if it's this? What if it's this? Hey, look at that. We fixed it. I'm smart. I can do it. Got it. Bat Puppy's MNG this game. So we just have a 3 vampire build. Excellent. Looks like Zophi's got 3 rerolls and a wizard. I like the wizard choice. I'm guessing you didn't have enough money to replace a vamp or buy a new one. On the orc side, we have bang average starting orcs. They're down 1 big in blocker, and they have a block Mr. Throw. So a couple things to kind of think about, right? If they do carry on Mr. Throw, it does mean that they're going to be a little bit slow. So we can delay our aggression if we want to. We don't have to engage immediately. But obviously, if an opportunity presents itself and we can tie them up, that's really good. We want to make sure that we mark out our threats too. And we know that our threats on this team are going to be really the blitzers, right? Why is it such a large pen? How do I change that? Give me that. Try that. All right. We know that the biggest threats to our team are going to be these guys right here, which are the blitzers, because they have block and they can easily find a hit on our team. The big ones are also a threat because they can find 2 dice very easily. So we need to be tracking where those are. The linos are not as much of a threat. They are something that we need to be aware of, but they're just kind of there, right? And Mr. Throw is obviously his ball carrier. So we're going to be tracking that ball carrier. Initial setup on this, you're on offense, right? Probably means we want to score quickly. So on your side, that means we want to have the things that can score quickly set up forward, right? And this is something I learned from Hype, because he played a lot of Vamps before me, but runners should probably be up on the line somewhere. You want to be taking a look at that. And ideally, you want to be putting them in a place wherein you can avoid the threats. In these cases, it's not really going to matter. Because he's set up 3 back over here, it means the furthest he can go is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can stall for a turn if you want to. So you could actually be somewhere back over here and be very safe with the ball. Yeah, so you can kind of think about it. If you don't want to be aggressive, you don't have to be. It's up to you. Now, I think Marcos won the kick, right? Yeah. Yeah, the blitz defense does matter here too, right? So like Moob was talking about, you can just spread wide. Take your blocks. You know you're going to be able to find your blocks on your line of scrimmage with your linos, and there's no reason not to take the blocks on the line of scrimmage with another piece because you don't have block. You don't have any other survival skills to worry about. So if you put this piece here, you can just throw a block there. You can throw a block there. If you have another thrall here, you can throw a block there, and you just keep blocking across the line of scrimmage as much as you want, and just keep chasing that. Chip an orc on turn 1, that's awesome. And with only 11 on the bench, that would set you up really nicely for your defensive drive. Beyond that, you'd want to have one piece like here, one piece here. If you're spread out here, another one there, ideally, or here. One of these two, just depends on how you're set up on line of scrimmage. And then one over here covering the wing. And this pretty much means that it doesn't matter what happens, you're not going to lose on turn 1, right? I'd probably be thinking of 3 to 4 turn score here if I can. Get back on defense and then try to turn them out. Would you, Rainer? You'd full elf column? I'm scared to do that kind of stuff. You could do it, though. I like taking the hits. Because, especially in... You don't have to... I mean, you don't have to reroll it, though, right? You can just eat it. Who cares? Depending on where the kick goes. I mean, the biggest thing about your setup is just preventing the blitz and getting your blocks to the line of scrimmage, in my mind. Who cares if you roll one? I don't know. Maybe... I like it. I like taking the risk. Getting a removal on the first turn totally changes the next 15 turns, 16 turns. So you can kind of do it the way that you want to. He's right. It is lower odds, but they happen. They happen. And Sophie, we just talked about it setup-wise. Just put them forward. No reason not to do it, right? Get these pieces forward. Get them like there. And then that way you have some blitz defense. If it's a short kick blitz, like if it was a short kick blitz here and it goes over here, you just lose. You just gave the Orcs 2 offensive drives, which that sucks. So don't be afraid to bring your pieces forward. I know you're taking additional risk when you do that, but it's worth it. Yeah, exactly, Move. That's how I feel about it too. This is another small thing, Zophie. Try to block across your line of scrimmage, right? You have an assist here. If you block here, you actually get another block there. You have a block here. You get another block there. That can be your blitz, whatever it might be. Just having players in this area. And this is a big piece of it too, right? And I think folks don't always... Yeah, I mean... So, Rainer, let's talk about that for a second, though, right? Because, like, you don't just get... Getting the removal is not the only reason you would take these blocks, right? There are lots of reasons that you would take it, including, like, if I can strand out these 3 or force him to blitz something like here, so that way he gets less initiative against me, that's really useful. An armor break, even if it's a stun, is great. Anything of that sort. Those are all great things. And I like it when you're able to do it. So, I don't know. For me, one of my objectives on the line of scrimmage is I want to create an environment create a situation where the opponent has a couple players laying on the ground, and then, or 3 or 4, and then I can trade out for them, right? So, for example, like this guy would follow on the block. I'd throw this block, put this one here, and now this guy would go there. And then he's forced to be back here. He's forced to have a line over here. I like it. I don't know. That's the way I think about it. But I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with backing off. I think it's perfectly fine. It's a valid strategy, especially against Orcs. But this guy doesn't have any Mighty Blow. He doesn't have any guard. The only thing that you got to end up with is a couple block pieces. So. All right. I like it. I mean, that's good feedback, too. It's another way to go. Turns out I was right. Get fucked, guys. Get fucked. I think you guys are absolutely right. But Zophiana did just get a removal and a full death, so I don't say. I don't say. Results speak for themselves. We're all about results-based analysis. Yeah. If this orc team was more developed, I'm with you guys 100%. I don't. My objective would be just to be aggressive, though. Like, turn them over. It's game one. I want to score as many times as I can in game one. And so, I don't know. That's the way I think about it. Now, unfortunately, Zophie only has 3 Vamps, right? So it gets a little bit more difficult. Okay. This I don't like, though. I don't like getting engaged in the scrum here. That's just a death, though, right, Blood? Like, that's like if you're searching for the exact death. Otherwise, it's something like a 2% for a casualty, and I want to say it's a 1 in 6 for the break into a 40% for the removal, 46. So that's not that bad. It's still like a 1 in 11, 1 in 12 for removal. No way to hire another vamp. One and a 1.5%. That's just for the Kaza, right? The knockdown is also good for you. Or knockout. Yeah. This here too, Zophie, just a little too aggressive, right? You're stepping in to the orcs, which is exactly what we're talking about right now, right? The argument that we're having about what are we doing to get into this, and you're just going to be giving up free blocks, right? This becomes a 2 dice block really easily. This then becomes a 2 dice block really easily. This one is another 2 dice block with block, and these are all your cage pieces. So this is going to be a problem. It would have been a lot better just to stand back. You don't even have to come this far forward. I mean, you could stay all the way back if you want to. You know that the orcs can only move to this line here without throwing any dice, so you can just go backwards. You don't have to take this fight. The argument we're having is about whether you should have taken the initial blocks, though. So, I don't know. Yeah, this is the one we're looking at. Yeah, and like we just talked about, this is just going to be a bad situation for you to be in now. I mean, you're going to get hit. Your runner's going to get hit. Your thrall's going to get hit. This thrall's going to get hit. This thrall's going to get hit. This thrall's going to get hit. You're going to eat about 6 blocks for this. So you just want to be really careful when you advance the ball and ask yourself, what am I giving up to take this space? Right? You don't have to. You don't have to do this. You can just hold back, let him come into you. And this is something to think about, right? When you let your opponent step into you, it actually gives you initiative. In Blood Bowl, unless you are touching somebody, they can't hit you. Just in general, right? Unless you are base to base with them, they can't hit you, which means they have to burn their blitz to do it. So if you are not touching the orcs, they only get to hit you 1 time. Now, they might make you throw dice on your next turn, like a dodge or a hypno or whatever it might be, but at least on this turn, they can't do it. So what does that mean? You get to respawn. Gotcha. Vamps against humans. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Hopefully this is helpful then. If I'm going too into it, just say the word, okay? Same mentality is going to be true with just about every team, though, with regard to when do I want to step in? When do I not want to step in? Right? Vamps are not a bash team. Elves are not a bash team. Humans are not really a bash team. They're sometimes a bash team. But you get the idea, right? Like, when I step into the opponent, they get to react to me and not the other way around. Yep. Yeah, I think it's one of the hardest things with them, too. So now you have to think about, okay, what do I do to get the ball safe? Thankfully, even though you just took a whole bunch of blocks, you didn't get any removals done against you. So that's great. So this is completely salvageable, right? Next, we need to decide, all right, when do I need to score? It's turn 3. Am I in a position where I need to score right now? Not crazy. It would be nice, but I'm up a player. So that's really good. So just back up, right? That's all you need to do. Just move the ball backwards. You know, you've got this piece here that's free. You've got these thralls that are free. I would probably move, if I were to work through this turn, I think I move this thrall back, go here. This thrall goes here. My dodge out then happens next. And I want to do the dodge now because I'm surrounded by all my players. Yes, I'm risking failing it. But if I fail it and I drop the ball, that's horrendous for me. So I don't like going to the left here move because you commit to the left, right? And you concede the center if you do it. And now you've compressed yourself into one side, which is great for the Orcs. You could do that. You could move forward on this turn, but I don't know. I don't love it. But you don't have to move that far from them. Like, I mean, you can just go here. Right? This is fine. You're 2 squares away. You're probably going to be able to rejoin them on the next turn. We're going to wait a second here since we got ads. You're on Twitch Turbo, though. Yeah. Yeah, see, Blythe, that's what I'm looking at, too. I think you just get compressed over here if you step in, and I think it's a lot of dice to get there, right? Because if you go left here, then that means your blitz has to be here. So that's 1, 2, 3, hitting on 4. And then I'll have 2 movement left, so that means the furthest point of my cage, or the back of my cage, can be here. So if I do that, then now my thrall gets forward here, they get here, and everybody slides over to the left, right? It's not terrible, but I think the Orcs just, on their next turn, they blitz this corner, and then they compress into you. Yeah, I thought so too, Sophie. I think they won the toss. So for me, I'm thinking I'm going to move back a turn. And to your point, Moob, if you go over here, you're still getting split from your thralls, right? There's no doubt about it. Yeah, that's fair. It's fine. You can eat the bloodlust. This probably should have been your blitz if you're going to do this, Sophie. This needs to be the handoff. I guess we're going to do the pass from the square. Yeah. This is fine, too. Like I said, I don't think left is necessarily bad. Just again, if you were going to do this here, do the blitz because you can bite after your blitz is over. Yeah. Yeah, turning the Orcs over with a Wizard and Vamps is probably going to be pretty easy. I think that ended up being a blitzless turn, right? Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Keeping the center of the pitch is really important. But I don't... This is still, again, why I didn't like going left. You've got to swing back into the center now. And you're going to roll a lot of dice to do it. Just turn planning wise, if you're going to Hypno here, I'm not sure where your blitz is. I think it's okay to Hypno here. There's nothing wrong with that, but is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rush for the hit? It's an option. It's 3 2s though, with 3 rerolls. You could probably do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rush. That's another option. Yeah, just make sure you're spotting where you want your blitz to be. Actually, it was in my head the blitz was either here or here. These are the two that I'm looking at. Probably here if you do the Hypno. But you could have just done it with this piece there. That could have been it. And then you're done. And depending on if you get the POW, that would determine the front of my cage. Like, if the POW happens here, then I follow. If it doesn't happen, then my cage is going to be back here. If that makes any sense. This, you can put the thrall out here. That's fine. But I like it better here. The thrall would be probably better there, just knowing that. So, something to think about. Make sure you look for where your blitz is at. Yeah. Oh, we're rushing. Okay. I think we're just giving up dice on the ball here. So, same thing. I think, Sophie, just make sure that you are planning where your cage is going to be. And I mentioned this in a couple other streams, but I'll mention it here again too, right? Make sure, just look at your board state. If you can find a 3x3 grid, you know that's probably where your cage needs to be. And it's really easy to spot them once you start looking for it. It's like, okay, going back to the beginning of this turn, right? Obviously, there's a whole bunch of orcs here, so that's a problem. But there's no orcs over here. So this is a very good candidate for my cage. If I can get my cage over here, and I can get this piece down, that means I can try to control some space over here, which is sick. That's really good. And then the orcs have a harder time swinging back across this direction. So then I now control all of this. Like, all of this. Right? Which is good. Orcs would have to come up that direction. I would have maybe a thrall like here. That'd be really nice. And then maybe the Hypno still happens over here. But my cage could be like all the way there. You guys get the idea. I'm drawing like a madman. And as long as you know what turn you're on, you can determine how far you need to go. Tough acting to acting. This is something that most folks should probably think about. The line of scrimmage here is 13 away from the end zone. Right? So that's the end zone up here. That means if you move your full distance forward, you can get to this square, so you just need one rush at the end. Right? So this is 7 away. This is 6. And this is 13. Yes, that's right. So then you can just think about it, right? So if I'm on turn 4, if I'm on my line of scrimmage, I need 2 turns to score on a movement 6 player. That's it. So just think of it from that perspective. So the latest that I can feasibly move forward without doing a handoff is turn 6. Yeah. Yeah, you can count from 1 turn range as well. I like to think of it this way. I count from the sweet spot. But yeah. I like that. Move 8, you need to be over here. Yeah. That would be this. So. And you can just work it back through that way. Yeah. I do both, I think. Right? Because I know a gutter can score from here because this is 11 away. And I know this is a move 8 can do it from here because that's 10 away. Move 7 is here because that's 9 away. So that's how I think about it as well. But if I'm trying to plan my turns ahead, for some reason I count from the sweet spot over here at 6. Because I think I'm trying to minimize the number of rushes So I'm working back how many I'm going to need. All right, so let's see what the Orcs do. Fire them, I'd probably be blitzing this piece here. Might hit the ball as well if I can. Which I think I could probably get at least 1D on the ball. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I can get 2 on the ball. Goes here. Block there. Tag that. Blitz comes this direction. Yep. Maybe a little blundo from your opponent. Yeah, 1, 2 plus. Oof. Made it 3. Sick.
It's board vision, it's IQ, and it's piece management. That's how we get this shit to work.
Make him roll a snake. Like this. I think I'd have been okay just blitzing that. Really valuable piece. I only need the push. Right? Like if you blitz even with the ball carrier, that would have been fine. This is also would have been fine. I don't hate this either though. I don't love it. Nice. I think better way to have done that would have just been, if you're not going to do this blitz, right? If you're just not going to do that and you just take the hypno, then take the ball, move it over here. Now just do the dodge off and do the blitz. That's, I think, just safer. Because then at the very end, if you get the POW, great. You can just stand in front of him. If you don't get the POW, then you're at least over here. I just hate this in the end. Because like it's still going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rush, rush. 3 rushes for 1D on the ball. Yep. Yep. But this is good. You're working through it. You're making your screen, like you're getting forward. You're in a scoring position, so this is really nice on turn 5, right? There's nothing. It's going to be pretty tough for him to actually get you. 5, 6, rush, rush. Can he make it 2 dice? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he could have made it 2 dice on the ball there. With 2 rerolls, I think I'd have gone for that. Hey, Torque. Thanks for the raid, man. I don't know why my raid notification's not working. Thank you, thank you. How are you, Mr. Torquemada? We're watching some baby Vamps, your specialty, play in the BBT tournament. Piloted by Zophiana. If y'all don't know Torque, this guy like wrote the book on how to play vampires. And happens to be a really nice guy as well. Thanks for the raid, man. Love it. Love a lot of this here, Sophie. Putting in the bloodlust just in case, right? This is good. I think you maybe could have waited another turn to score, though. I don't think you were required to. And with where you're at, I'd have been okay with it. How were the ZFL games, y'all? Yeah. You don't have to, though, right? I'm thinking through the same thing, right? You could go further and try to actually do it. Score early and try to turn them over, but why? Why do it? Turn them over in his half. This one's yours. If you can stall longer, stall a little bit. It means you can take less risk. It means you have to risk less bites on the thralls. Like, that's all good stuff. Yeah, Zophie has the wizard. No. You still have to defend for 3 turns here, right? So just going back to the setup here. Don't mind the split line of scrimmage here. I think it's okay. Don't love this. If you're going to do this, move the Vamps forward at least here. So that way you have a straight line across. That helps you because this player doesn't have guard, right? Because they don't have guard, it means that they can't actually get an assist. Or at most, they can get 1 assist. And they have to be based on a vampire when they do it. So they're committing at least 3 players to do it. So I like this better. And then just go a little wider too. Right? Go even wider if you're going to do that. I don't mind leaving 1 back because that gives you something to respond with. But going wider means that they have to blitz somewhere. They have to base you up. They got to do something if they want to take that space. Now, when your opponent has guard, it's a whole nother game. Like, you don't really want to create flat lines against guard because it means that they can create additional pressure. Yeah, Orcs can definitely 3-turn. It is in their possibility. Well, there goes his last reroll, though. So that'll help. Would probably save my wizard for the second half, too, here. I don't think I'd be looking at using it here. He does have a scoring threat in, so that's an issue. He has just left dice on the ball, though, and you have 2 rerolls. I would probably go for the dice on the ball before I do anything else. You can put a thrall here. You can come in. You can do a hypno there, right? So it's a 2+. If the thrall's here, you can ignore the bloodlust. And then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rush, rush. 3 2s to hit the ball for 2 dice. I think that's what I'd be looking at. And then you actually have recovery with this thrall if you want it. If you want to get really spicy, you can hit him from that square and push it backwards, and that's probably even better. That's perfectly fine too. 4, 5, 6, rush, rush. Yeah. Great. Love it. I like the other way better. 2 reasons. 1, if you get the scatter that you just did, your runner just comes in and picks it up, and you're actually in a position to score here. So that's just crazy good. The other thing is, if you get it, your other thrall can come up here now and help create a screen. And I think this one could probably just bang it through. You would still been able to come back and do the hypnos later on if you wanted to, but that at least gets you what you want. And if you don't get the POW, lets you stand in front, which is your next kind of like secondary objective here, right? Yeah. That would have worked. That pickup on a runner. Hey, love to see it. I don't think I'd reroll the pickup move. Yeah, that's fair. Going up 2-0 there, maybe it's worth it. I guess maybe just because it's on a thrall. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think I reroll that. Yeah, move up above the ball. That would have been also quite good. I mean, everything's okay here. Just one thing to point out here. You have to keep in mind any block you throw can fail. It's not even just the ones with block or without block. Those ones are particularly scary. Any block you throw can fail. And you see people do it all the time is that they start chasing blocks. So what is this block getting you when you throw this one? Why are we doing it? If we don't have a good answer for that, then we just shouldn't do it. It's turn 8 for you. So you don't have any recovery. Like, you're not going to have a chance to score at this point. I think I just don't throw this one. Not until later in my turn. For me, the most important thing on this turn is getting this ball. Like, just get the ball safe. And I want all of my rerolls for that objective. Because if I do that, I just win, right? Or at the very least, I'm in a much stronger winning position. And this is a thing that you always want to be thinking about on your turns, right? Is what is my winning condition? What are the things that I can do on this turn that drives me toward actually winning the game? Does a random block with a thrall win me the game? Maybe, but probably not, right? So we think about it in those terms. Can I win this game on this turn? Probably not, but what I can do is get that ball, get it away from them, and then we're in a much better space. I get to this block, great. But I don't really care. Yep. Yeah, that's another way to look at it too, Moop. Maybe I'm just not thinking about this, but even a Hypno here would have been incredible, right? Because he just... It's like a 6-up pass, bare minimum for it. I don't know if there is a chain push on for him, though. I don't see any good ones. I don't think he has enough players over here. Oh! Stab works. Get him. You know, an 11. Very good. All right, let's take a look at that second half. KO comes back. He's on 10. We are also on 10. So not amazing, but we have a chance of getting a KO back if this drive ends early. Who got a reroll? I wish it was better at showing that. Yeah. Is that Zophie? No. Orcs got another reroll. I'll just pass over this setup in silence because we've already talked about it. What I don't love about it. What I would love to see more of in it. This tells you he's probably thinking about quick scoring, that he wants to win. So you should adjust your strategy off of that. Right? Like, him quick scoring is not a big deal for you. But knowing that, I would probably be using less rerolls. Right? I would just say, okay, you can score if you want to. I'll save my rerolls for my dry back. I don't think that did anything for him, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rush. No, you could still hit him. One 3+ Hypno. And I think you get dice on the ball there too. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why you split up. Yeah. Typical, even I forgot about the wizard move. I'm not even playing. This is fine. don't love staying based against this. Which just ends up giving him an extra hit. Vamps are armor 9, so you really want to avoid taking hits if you can. They do die. They're not like those stinky dark elves either. Those things don't die. Oh, man. That's a dangerous rush. Imagine if that was the previous rush.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got it.
Poor man. Holy shit, that sucks. Yeah. Blitz him with your thrall. I love this. I think I'd have done the hypno with the thrower though, just so you had better recovery. Right, your thrower, your runner could have gotten up there. Oh, wow. Could have thrown that as a block, right? Was he on the ground? No, he was on the ground. Oh, man. That's probably worth a reroll. Right? Yeah. Dodge out square probably should have been there, and I think that's worth a reroll. Yeah, I think it stays too, but if you're gonna dodge, I think you have to reroll it. Yeah, this is going to shit for the orcs. 2 snaked rushes. Rushes are statistically impossible, I know it. He's gonna do another, isn't he? Oh, brutal. That was a surfed lino if you wanted it. It's a lot of dice for it, but... I like this as your blitz. Repositioning this vamp up to here is just a lot stronger. Prevents the 3+ dodge off. You could have had one here. The vamp could go here, and then your runner can come through if you want. And it gets you. Other thing here too, right? Whenever you can, try to avoid this column with the ball. We all know what this is called, right? If you've watched Jim or you've watched Art, you know what that's called. It's Chun's column. You want to stay out of this if you can. Yep. If this is a POW and he hits you here and it goes out of bounds, he's got like a big one right here just hanging out. He can actually go score on this next turn. So you want to be really, really careful with this. There was nothing stopping you from being in this column. Like, you could have just been there. So when in doubt, prioritize 3 away. Now, if you have sidestep, that's a whole nother issue because you can sidestep away from the sideline, but he rolls the both down, so it's not a problem. You're okay. But something to think about. Doesn't get the pickup. Yeah, this game's over. Totally fine. I like that you don't re-roll the Bloodlust there. I think that's the right choice. Something to think about, right? With Vamps in particular, this is really, really important. You always want to think about your end position wherever you're at in the sequence, right? So you know he's starting here, right? This is the guy that's going to get the ball at the end, I'm presuming. So you want to plan for that. You could have put him here. In my head, I don't know why. I thought you were going to go 1, 2, 3, hitting on 4, right? And then you trap him between the thrall and the runner. And then you can come over here for 5 and then 6 if you want to. And you're perfectly safe at that point. This thrall could even come over here. And now you have a screen. The blitzer's stuck between two things. Like, it's just a stronger position for you. And I think you could actually have been out of Chun's column if you wanted to. So small things like that make a world of difference when you're thinking about how do I win more. You probably just win this game, though. Right? You're so far ahead that you probably just win. He's going to try to push you onto the ball here so he can get the scatter out. So that way he can get it to this big one down here. You got to watch for that kind of stuff too. But does he get it? He gets it. Where's it going to go? Where did it go? The worst possible place for him. Ball is now over here. Yeah, there's a thrall down here, dude. All right, so let's work through this turn. So things have gone bad. We need to figure out what we're doing next. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rush, rush. You can pick up the ball with either of these two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But your activation has to end. So we need to create a screen for this. That means we're not taking this block. And we're going to have to throw a shit ton of dice for this. Here's the way I think of it. I want a thrall to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Runner's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 1 rush there for 8. My thrower's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's a double rush now. It's a lot. And I've got to reroll everything that happens here. Picking up the ball and handing off to my runner. That's what I like here. I don't think you get the ball safe any other way. You guys see something? And even then, I'm not sure the ball is safe. I think you still have to do this dodge out at the end. It's safer. 5, go. Go. Yeah, it still leaves 2 dice on. It's a pass then, isn't it? Yeah, so the runner's going to go here. Yeah. And then thrall goes here. Thrower comes over here, passes to the thrall, to the runner there. Now it's somewhat safe. Safer again. And then at the end, you need to dodge this thrall here. That sucks. That really sucks. It's a lot of dice. Yeah, you could go further away. It's an option. Hey, maybe. Welcome, welcome. Oh, tough. Glad it's on a block. Otherwise, that would be turn ending. Maybe what's your background? How long have you been playing Blood Bowl? What's your favorite team? Okay. I like it. We have managed to make the ball, I think. It's a thing. It's in a safe square. Mudara's werewolf casualtied half your team. Yep. Yep. That werewolf is a menace. What is going on, man? Between Mudara's werewolf and John's war dancer. Amazon coach, I like it. Oh, we got the pickup. I love Zons. I know people get a lot of grief for enjoying Zons. However, I think that they're a lot of fun. So, yeah, they have a couple big in south, so I think it is. Sorry, just the one Lino. But yeah, they're going to be very hard pressed to score right now. And you're making them roll dice with no rerolls, so, I mean, this is probably ideal for you. After this turn, if they have nobody in scoring range, you're just fine. So the Orcs need to come down to this square here. Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way about the dodge away. Yeah, we're going for it. Oof. Oh, bummer. So this ends in a tie, doesn't it? All right. So, one of the things that's really, really important when these kind of... I'm going to snooze the ads for a second because I want to talk through this. Yeah, it's not great. I'm assuming that fails. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But let's see what happens here. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things we want to look at whenever these kind of things happen and suddenly stuff starts spiraling for us is we need to go back in turns and look at where could we have made our position a lot safer, and then we don't get into this thing. Very rarely in Blood Bowl does it happen that the collapse of your team or the collapse of like your offense or defense, whatever it is, occurred on the turn that they scored. It almost always occurred by 4 or 5 turns beforehand, right? So I think in my mind, it actually happens probably right about here. You have this excellent fireball, which does a lot for you. Not only do you have an excellent fireball, but you have dice on the ball for free, right? You can even come over here and hit him with this thrall here. And there's nothing that you need to roll to do that. So when you can see those kind of plays, then you can start working back on, okay, do I need block to do this? Do I need wrestle to do this? What do I have that actually gets you or gets me into like a winning position from this? Because even though you have all this stuff happening, right? Like you have this, you've eliminated a whole bunch of orcs. You're not actually winning the game at this point because they still have a drive and they still have a chance to score. So we need to get them to a place where they can't do that, right? I love the blitz this way. I think this is really good. You have a runner that's over here that can come get the ball, right? If you get it knocked down over here, even if it gets knocked out of bounds, that's totally fine for you. Like, it's probably okay because you have pieces that can respond to it. Like, anywhere it goes, the runner can get to it. The thrower can improve your position, whatever it might be. So, even still, like, I don't hate this turn. You get the ball, you secure it. I think you do it in a cool way. I think it starts to kind of cascade from this point because we're carrying on a thrall, which is less safe than carrying on the runner who's fast or carrying on the vamp thrower who's strong, right? That's what their two strengths are. We're carrying on a thrall that has no defensives and is just really weak. It's easy for them to get to it. And he's slow. Move 6 is slow. So we want to get it off this thrall if we can. This turn, I think, would have been a good turn to do that. And then just getting it forward at that point. Getting it back onto a vamp, getting it like forward on the runner or the thrower, whatever it might be, just improves your position from this point. We already talked about ways that we could have made the cages stronger here, right? And not going into Chunt's column or whatever it might have been on these ones. But same thing is true. So small things, right? I don't love scoring on linemen. I try to avoid it as much as I can. On Vamps is especially important because where we target our SPP is incredibly important. Like, incredibly important. I don't want to carry SPP on thralls if I can avoid it. The only things that I want is a dirty player and a kick thrall. That's it. Nothing else. But beyond that, get the ball forward, get it into a cage, get off of Chunt's column, right? These are all the sub goals that I have for my turn. And then just go score. If I go up 2-0, I win. Orcs aren't going to turn me over and score again in 4 turns. Like, it's just not going to happen. So just get the ball forward, punch it in, be done with this. But we leave this on, right? And we already talked about it because we don't build a better cage here. And we don't get it onto a vamp, and it just kind of spirals from there. So if I could pick like the 2 things I would change here and things for you to focus on would be 1, pre-plan your cages. You've got to do it. You cannot get away with being a good coach at Blood Bowl and not pre-planning your cages. You have to do it. So you got to think about it, right? Look for those 3x3 grids. Try to prioritize things like, am I going to have strength? Like, I'd want a 4 strength here, a 4 strength here, and a 4 strength here if I could do it. I only have that, so I need a compromise. And then you just keep doing it. Right? You don't actually need a piece here if you do that. I hope that's like the number 1 thing I would focus on. The second thing I would think about, Sophie, and this is just in general, is why am I basing? What does basing get me when I do it? And you need to ask yourself that question. If the answer is just that a player is tied up, that's not that valuable like 90% of the time. Especially if it's like an elf with dodge, and you see people do this all the time, wherein they'll have a blodge player and they just put a player on it. And they say, oh, got it. I win this game now. Ball base GG. It's part of the reason why it's a joke in the Blood Bowl community, right? A 2+ dodge is like a 99.3% chance that it's going to work. It's absurdly high. Maybe it's lower than that. I don't know. It's really, really high. Is that what you want to bet on? It does introduce a failure state. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it at times. Sorry, you're right. It's like 97.3%. It does introduce a failure state, which is great. And we watch them happen, and people lose games off of that all the time. But you don't want that to be the thing that you're betting on. Right? Like, I want to hit them with 2 dice. I want to have a reroll available for that. I want to make sure that the things that are high value or high likelihood events for me winning the game are the things that I'm doing. And I want to make sure that my opponent is low value for that. So those are the 2 things I would think about. Why am I basing? What am I getting out of this base? And then 2, pre-planning my cages. So that way I know this is where I'm going. The second thing you do once you know where your cage is going is planning the players that are going into it. And we already talked about that, right? Like a 4 strength here, 4 strength here. You get the idea. So that's it. Those are the big things. Other than that, I think you actually played really well. You were trying to score. Like, your overall game strategy was really solid. Yeah, hope chess. That is definitely one way to call it. I've never heard it called that before. But on turn 15, what's your spots? How do I lose this game? That's actually a really good point too. I'm glad you called that out. That's a thing that I actually struggle with. So that's probably why it's a blind spot for me. Is what loses me this game is sometimes hard to track. It's to the point where I actually, you'll hear me do it, I actually will rehearse on turn 13 or 14 where I have to ask myself the explicit question of, how do I lose this game? And then I try to plan around it if I can. So thank you for letting us do this, though. This is really good, and I don't want it to sound like I'm bagging on everything here. There's a lot of really good stuff that I like. Again, your overall game strategy I thought was great. You saved the wizard for when you needed it on their drive. You tried to score early, and when you weren't able to score early, you just sat back and said, okay, I'm not going to do this. You invited them into you. You played to the strengths of Vamps, which I thought was fantastic. Just go a little bit further. Go a little bit further. Plan your cages out and plan who goes in those cages. That's the number one thing. And then, like I said, ask yourself about basing. Why am I basing? What am I getting out of that? Cool. You guys want to play some marbles? I hope that's helpful. Thank you again, Sophie. I really appreciate you being part of the community and letting us talk through this kind of stuff.